Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk about something that's on my mind and heart right now. It's 5 a.m. and I have not slept all night. Um, it's been 4 months since I've done any kind of drug or alcohol. Pot was my big thing, and it was a way to escape and find some kind of pleasure in life. And um, I'm in a program now. I go 5 days a week, and it helps to stay on this path and try to find some way to live a life that's worth living. Because that was just one thing I did to cope with a lack of that, and I um, I have just spent all this whole night just engaging in pleasurable activities that are pleasurable for a short period of time. It doesn't matter what they are, the content of them. It's the kind of the deeper thing behind that. It's pleasurable for a short period of time, and in the long run, it doesn't really mean that much. And too much of it is not good. The pleasure is turns into pain, and I I've just been thinking, I've had time to think because I can't sleep, and I just think back to moments in my life of times where there hasn't been a crazy amount of these times, but there's been enough that I know that I can cultivate that in my life. It just takes effort. It takes a certain amount of bravery, because my therapist says this thing: why do we hurt? Because we care. Sounds kind of corny, but it's true. If you put yourself out there, if you try to have those things in life that matter, you can lose them, or you can't get, or you don't get them, or all these different things. Life is hard. I just turned 31 um, a few days ago, and at this age, I'm still a young guy, but mortality is a thing that enters my mind a lot more than it used to, and it means more to me in a real way than it ever has. I've met people who've died. I've loved people who've died. I think about my own death. I think about the shortness of life, how in 10 years I'll be 41, then 51, then 61. And it goes by. And I hear people who are older talk about that. Oh man, it feels like I heard somebody recently say, when he's an older guy and he's 61, 62, and he said, I look in the mirror, and it isn't until I look in the mirror that I realize I'm an old guy. Um, and yeah, it just engaging in these activities tonight, and then that hollowness afterwards. You know that there's a saying, one is too many, a thousand's never enough when it comes to, it's kind of a 12-step saying. Um, and it's true in a lot of these kinds of activities. It's not just about drugs or alcohol or pot or alcohol or any of the other stuff. Um, the hedonism is, it's an empty thing. And kind of what came to mind is love. You know, um, to me, you know, I think it's up to each person to kind of figure out kind of what life, the most important thing to them is, even if you accept somebody else's kind of philosophy or, what is the meaning of life, you have to do that yourself. Um, you kind of are trusting your own judgment there. Your judgment is always involved. And in my own judgment, I think love is the highest, for me, it's the thing that matters the most. And love is a very, there's that song, What is Love? Um, it's kind of a big word. It means a lot of things. There's different types of love. Romantic, of course. There's familial love, friendships. You can even say, like, you can love an idea or love a hobby or, a certain kind of, have a deep affection for maybe a cause or um, a career that's meaningful. Um, Things like that. A love of life in general, and how you kind of can put that into practice. Um, so it's not too abstract. Um, and it just came to mind, somebody that I loved and they passed away, and thinking about what they said, and thinking about how I felt, and the changes that occurred within me when I loved somebody for the first time in that sort of way, and then realizing I just spent a very hollow period of time for a few hours seeking that in a way, seeking some kind of fulfillment and not getting it. And it sucks. It's not a good feeling. Um, but that's also life, It's there's love, and there's that baser kind of stuff of impulsiveness and disappointment and anger at yourself and going down the wrong path for a while, or maybe for some people their whole life. You know, some people never get those moments, and I have. I've gotten those moments, and I'm grateful for that. And I want more of those moments, but it doesn't come by wishing and hoping. Um, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I just like that corny old saying. But yeah, I don't know. That's just on my mind. Is I'm alive. It's a short period of time, and I want it to mean something. It's only going to mean something while I'm here. And after, in my own opinion, and when I'm gone, it's now. That comes later. Who knows? But what I do know is that that's what I want. Something deeper, something real, something that when the pleasure dissipates, kind of there's a sweet aftertaste, and I'm getting poetic, but it lingers, and there's no the only kind of pain that's there is that doesn't last forever, but it doesn't leave me hollow. It just leaves me sad. Um, but I do know that it's out there now. I didn't used to know that there's a deeper richness of life, that there is love, that I can love, that I can enjoy life, that I can participate in life, but not every day. Some days it's just walking into that same rake again and again and hitting my face against the rake and going, ow, why am I doing this? But I guess it's part of life. And I think that also that's what makes those moments even better. Because how could we know that if it was without the other? that yin and yang kind of thing. Anyway, that's kind of my meanderings at 5 a.m. without any sleep. I hope it meant something, and I got something out of it, so that's all that matters. Screw you. No. But take care, and thank you for listening. And if you have any comments, thoughts, I'd like to hear them.